I got away a bit. Okay, the Times Culture Co-op. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Hines Report. And welcome back to the Dr. Hines YouTube channel. If you're tuning here for the first time, we cover legal cases and we go through social issues as well on this channel. There's a lot more content coming up, but for Hines Report, we are Case Files Edition. We are revisiting the Jonathan Majors trial, something that we've been covering all through this channel. So we are going back to do a code transcript read of Grace Jabbari's testimony. We done that last time where we basically stopped on the at a point where Grace was testifying as to the events that was leading up to the arrest that Jonathan Majors went through on the 25th of March. So that's where we stopped, and we are going to go through that all through this stream. But before we do that, make sure you hit the like button and also hit that share button. Let your friends know, because it will help with the algorithm so much. You can also dislike. I don't know if that helps or not with the algorithm, but I'm pretty sure whatever you do in terms of sharing this and, you know, reacting to this, engaging with this, it would pretty much help with the algorithm. Just make sure you utilize that chat feature here. I will also do my best to also answer whatever questions you may have. I'll be posing the questions as I go along the stream, as well as polls as well. So, you know, you can join in and make this a lot more livelier, a lot more entertaining, because we are reading transcripts after all. Let's not hide from that. But yeah, before we start, also we do have a lot of content on the channel. Make sure you go and check them out, because the Devi content has been released. We've also done live streams covering this case since its inception. It's all right there in a neat playlist for all of you. So make sure you go check that out, and make sure you check out drhines.info to get all the sources, and as well as in the articles that are relevant for each of the cases that I cover. Over here, we just fact check the fact checkers. That's what we're doing on today's stream. And yeah, just bring out as much info as possible. So without further ado, I'm gonna go straight into the transcript read. So yeah, let me just get that let me just set that up for you guys here. There we go. We stopped last time on page 191, which is where we're gonna resume from, because she has testified, she being Grace Jabbari, has testified to being passed out on the floor, and says that she was just emotionally drained and just basically exhausted. We're gonna read from page 189 to kind of jog our memories and recall, because as it was already established during trial, she went out clubbing with Chloe Zelna, I believe her name was, as well as her boyfriend Max and other friends that didn't get to testify in the trial, but Max wasn't really that much help. But yeah, that's what she did the night before, and now she's back to in her apartment. She testified also that on going back to the apartment, she was feeling her finger hurt when she was in the CCTV. Again, we went through that in the previous stream. You can go find that on the by either going to the podcast of the Hines live report. It will show their replay crew, etc. You guys can go and watch that dissection, because that's what we did on this stream. We read the transcript and put the exhibits that we do have available side by side. Also, I forgot to mention as well as trying to set the foundation for this stream, that we did a stream last time on here in regards to Jonathan Majors' ABC interview. You can also go and find that. The two parts of it. The first part, I spoke with an individual that was an individual that goes by name of Liana Kersner. She is, of course, believe that Jonathan is not an abuser, and it's pretty much innocent, and the justice system, or the legal system, as she calls it, had failed him on this occasion, because everything that he was doing wasn't necessarily indicative of someone that would be an abuser. We had a nuanced conversation there. We also had a nuanced conversation. We also had another conversation that was quite nuanced with the LW Academy Hub, that believe that Grace Jabbari was, the victim in all of this, and etc. So we discuss all that. It's all in the live tab as well. Heinz Report, Case Files Edition. Just for I let you guys know that, because it was quite enlightening conversations, and we have conversations like that in relation to the cases that we cover on the Heinz Report. So yeah, go and check those discussions out, and all the other discourse that we had with lawyers on here. Nate the lawyer dropped in one of our live transcript reads, which was really enlightening because he gave us a kind of a scoop that before he uploaded his video, where he basically said that Jonathan has a great chance of winning his appeal, depending on the arguments that is put forth by Priya Chowdhury, who I believe will be heading the appeal anyway, unless he hires another counsel to do the appeal. But nonetheless, he has a really good chance of appeal because of the, especially with the inconsistent verdict rule. That's what he explains on the previous stream. I think that was on part 4. That stream was part 4. You can go check that out. Again, it's on the live tab, and all the other streams that the lawyers had done to break down the real legalities that came with this particular case, because it is quite complex in this case. So again, once again, thank you everyone for tuning in so far, and for this transcript read. So we're gonna go straight into the transcript read and basically go through Grace Jabbari's testimony from page 189. We didn't stop here, but it's just to get a refresher. So going on, it says, but I was wanting. So he says, so the question from page 188 says, I was on the phone to Holly. She was, can I say what she was saying to me? No, you can't say that. That's okay. And I decided to leave. I was set to be leaving. So for those that don't know, Holly is Holly Blakey, who we have also covered her transcript read as well in tandem with Officer Nick Swain. I'm not sure if his first name, I've just blanked out in my head, but Officer Swain and Holly Blakey, we've covered their transcripts. Holly Blakey was basically establishing, well, we have shown her to change her testimony a little bit, at least as to how Grace was feeling when she was on the phone versus what she said back in June 2023 versus what she said in December 2023 when the trial was going on. It was quite different, because she was saying that Grace was all over the place and kind of frantic, etc., which would speak to why Jonathan would imagine that she has committed unalive herself one way or the other, or at least attempted to unalive herself. That testimony was really important to establish that. The police testimony was really important to establish that, because they didn't know that Grace was messaging Holly. They also didn't know that they didn't know what she was doing previously, and it came out in that stream, which was part 1 to part 3 of this, that ideally that it came out basically that Grace had volunteered the information of her being strangled by Jonathan to the police being hit by the head, when she was arguing in court that she was just trying to protect him all along. But it turns out here, based on the officer's testimony, that wasn't necessarily the case, because she was volunteering this information, that she was actually scared of him, and she was trying to say that. But as we saw in those streams, in the texts, this doesn't demonstrate it, because she's now you have the scenario, the real scenario, where Jonathan has been taken away into police custody, and you have Grace Jabbari messaging him saying that she's gonna drop all the charges, etc. She loves him, etc. All those things. They don't have my blessing to do all this, trying to make it seem like she wants him, etc. As long as, which to me at the time and still now speaks to someone that was doing all of this on the condition of, yeah, you have to take me back, and I can make this all go away if you do take me back. Because again, it was established in Officer Swain's testimony that he wasn't even out there for a domestic violence call, though he is domestic violence trained. He was out there answering a call that was in relation to suicide, which is why the paradigms was even there. So part 1 to part 3 of this stream goes through all of that. We're gonna go right back into the part 6 of this stream, which basically goes through goes through what happened, the events of what happened on the 25th leading up. This would be, I would say, 9 o'clock Eastern time. So I'm just gonna set the timer so that we don't overrun our time. Here we go. Oh wait, nope, that's not it. That's not how we do it. I don't want to overrun the stream, so I will set the timer because we have overrun in the past. I'm setting the timer now. Let's go. So it says, and I decided to leave. I was set to be leaving the next day, but I was wanting to get out of the apartment that day. However, I was extremely tired. I just needed like a few hours sleep more so I could gather the strength. Basically, she was ready to leave the apartment that her and Jonathan were staying at. She's basically packed up our bags and is ready to go at this point. And this is very key, because what she does here is that she basically explains that she was confused at the same time as to why the relationship was ending, because he had promised to marry her, all those things, but at the same time she was ready to leave. Like I said, it's the testimony that she's giving is very conflicting, and we're gonna get into why this is the case. I could barely move my body at this point. I was just like, let me just sleep a little bit more because I felt exhausted. So I locked the door because I know the defendant and I believed in. I don't know what I can say or not. Ask another question. That's what the judge instructed Galloway. So he says, "What did you do after you locked in the door?" I went back to sleep because basically I just said to Holly, "I'll go. I'm going to leave. I want to, but I'm so tired. I just need sleep." But in order to feel safe, I just needed everything locked because I was scared he was going to come back, basically. Why were you scared he was going to come back? The way he had been in a relationship? What do you mean? What, like, based on again, this is like, it was established by Danny in one of the streams that she comes from a family that is with lawyers. This is why I've been saying from part 1, it comes across as she's really vetted for this. Like, it's either she's been in courtrooms all her life and she knows just what to say, or she just really has, just really been trained to say what she says. Not picking it apart. I'm just saying that if this guy was abusive, you wouldn't be suggesting things like this. You'd just be saying, yeah, he's been beating me up all my life. I was scared when he comes back, he's going to do it again. But like I said, she never testifies to anything physically abusive. There's nothing that prohibits her from doing this. She can. What was established in the stream with LW Academy Hub, because she was trying to argue back in that stream, a bit of a departure here, but she was trying to argue that the texts that came in were sealed because it was deemed too prejudicial, but it became relevant because of Grace protecting the police. We already discussed the conflicts with that, but the point was, she was saying she couldn't really speak to this to him being physically abusive because it wouldn't be relevant to this case. However, right here, look, there was an objection and the judge overruled it. Why couldn't she speak to him abusing her? Because it's right here, though. The prosecution has set up so many times to basically say, hey, there was a pattern of abuse going on here. They wouldn't have that case. They wouldn't even have the case present. This is what I was trying to explain, because Natalie, the law chick, was literally on here. She saw a text and she was wondering, why couldn't they recross? Like, if the room is open for you to make arguments like this, it's open for other things to come in. Like that doesn't involve, at least I assume, doesn't involve law enforcement. But anyway, moving on. It says, you said that you were so tired and you were trying to fall asleep. Where did you fall asleep? On the bed. Okay. She was found on the floor, but she says bed. Okay, let's say, what did you do after falling asleep? After I fell asleep, I woke up. Okay, this is how, I forgot. I even forgot myself. This is how the vomit got into the bed, because she felt really sick. Like, my body was like, whoa, kind of started being sick. She ran into the toilet and started throwing up. That's what she was basically testifying to here. She basically said, she was asked, why were you being sick? And, she responds with the pain that she was in, the lack of sleep, probably some of the alcohol that she had. All this conversation wasn't really making her happy, etc. Solo Dove, thank you so much for tuning in. Says, seems she has been taught to drop hints, no firm answers. Relationship is over. Why not tell the truth? Exactly. This is what upsets me the most, because I have, again, maybe I have to do another stream with a lawyer and go through just some of the points from this transcript, and just basically do a quick stream, 30 minutes or something like that, and just go through some of the finer points that are jumping out at me with this stream. With the absence of a lawyer, it might make sense to do one, because I'm reading all this. A lot of the things that's come in, to establish background and wasn't for consideration, and all those things that the judges admire the jury so many times with, all of those things, from what I'm reading here, if it was deemed as prejudicial, or if it was something that wasn't used to prove what he did, or something, or the likelihood of him doing it, this, I'm just using my logic. I don't think, if it wasn't to prove and just giving a background information, I don't think if he was being physically violent, for example, that wouldn't have come in. But him knocking over things on the floor, etc., that would. You see what I mean? Like, because the judge did admonish her, the prosecution, didn't admonish the jury, every single time, in regards to the background information that was being served. Perhaps, and I will, again, I have to ask a lawyer, but I might say, okay, maybe physical acts, or if he did do that, would not come in, because it wouldn't be used to prove something. I'll go that far, because again, it seems logical. But again, something that's logical to me in the law could be permissible, because I'm saying it seems logical, but in the law it may not be permissible. But if it is permissible in the law, then you gotta wonder, well, why aren't you speaking to this act? Basically, is what I'm trying to say. So going back to this, it says, after I threw up, I just kind of got in. So it's also, again, she testified that she fell asleep on the bathroom floor, which was heated, but of course she was found in the closet lying down. So that's what why were you warm? It was heated floor, etc. This is where we stopped last time. She said that she normally sleeps naked. And then it was established that she didn't call the police. Jonathan called the police at this point. He says no, but I started questioning. Okay, so it says no, but I started to with their questioning of what was happening. And when the police first came, what was your emotional state? Just totally overwhelmed. Like, the last thing I had in memory was being alone, feeling safe-ish. It was so overwhelming, just being a woman, half naked, surrounded by big men. It wasn't a nice feeling. What was your physical pain level point? I was really high, but kind of overwhelmed after what's going on. I felt more present. What was the pain at this point? Yeah, I was in a lot of pain everywhere. It felt like either I had been hit by a bus or done a really extreme exercises I hadn't done for 1 year. Just like really achy. Now, I gotta this part right here was actually reported by the main mainstream press. This is what I hate about this trial. She said being hit by a bus. The messenger reported this, and only this part. It's really crucial. It says or done a really extreme exercise and just feeling achy and battered. The reason why this is really important is because she's clearly giving an analogy, because at the same time she was running. She was running. Like, why was the bus, only the bus, reported? Like you gotta think about this. Why was just the bus reported, but not the fact that she said, oh, I've been doing exercise. I'm trying to find the article now. Yes, that's the one. A lot of people ran with this. I felt like I've been hit by a bus. Variety ran with it, Messenger ran with it. I'll just pick one. I'll just pick Variety. The Root ran with it. So many people ran with it. Let me pick the Oxygen, because they usually report cases like this with a fair bit of accuracy. I'm not gonna pick the magazines and all of that, because they don't really, they know about that life. But places like Oxygen True Crime, they are. So they, this was going from ABC News, reporting from, sorry, not reporting from, I think they had people in the courtroom as well. I'm not too sure. That's the one. The Associated Press was in the courtroom, but they're reporting from the Associated Press. And we're looking again. There were multiple pushes, multiple injuries. They're arguing all these things, but right here, look, it was only in bed she arrived once that she said she felt like it was in a bus. But what we're reading here changes the whole context, because clearly, or done a really extreme exercise class. Well, if you run into a wall and you also chase after someone for 4 blocks, you would feel like that. That I hadn't done in a year. Okay, she's being hyperbolic in a way, because obviously it's like, okay, that's a bit extreme, but you still gotta think of the substance of what she's trying to say here, because what she's clearly trying to say here is nothing more than me just being a big bus coming at me, and that's it. I'm hit, bang. That was the imagery. But what she said right here is really key, and I'm surprised that they didn't basically put this part of the analogy in for completeness, because this is actually what she said. Just achy and battered. Like, just achy and battered. Of course you would be. You still ran blocks after blocks. Okay. I still remember on the stream when I mentioned that dancers are athletes. She was like, the Angelina Lewis was basically arguing with me. I'm like, but clearly, if she can last, unless this would be out of the run for her and she'll be tired easily, clearly this is a massive factor. Like, as to how she would be feeling the next morning. She ran and she was also drinking. All of those can distort how you are approaching things or how you see things. But anyway, I was just like, but anyway, I just wanted to show that part, to show how the mainstream media in this particular case were like just going gun-ho on Jonathan Majors. This is one example. There's plenty more. We'll get to it. Again, this is a very cold read. So continuing on, it says, did you tell the officers how you sustained your injuries? It was overruled. I know I alluded to it in the safest way I felt possible. You see what I mean? Yes or no? But okay. But again, she's trying to put up the framing that she was basically trying to protect him, and so she didn't do something like this. What do you mean by the safest way you felt? I could hear Jonathan in the next room, so I didn't want to say exactly what happened, but I also saw this as a moment to have a bit of help in leaving the relationship. Did you want to tell them what had occurred? Again, this is what she's saying. She wanted to have a bit of help leaving the relationship. Let's go back to the text messages. I should really have downloaded those text messages. Damn it. TMZ, Jonathan Majors. That's probably gonna be. Okay, I should have. I should have. I think I did, to be honest. Let 1 second. Let me try and find it. I must have. I must have by now. 1 second. Bear with me. Let me get the text messages out. It would be. I don't know why I keep forgetting to do this every single week. I keep forgetting to do this. Apologies, guys. But while I'm doing this, well, thank you everyone for tuning in right now. I appreciate the ounce of patience that you guys are sharing with me. In regards to me, in regards to not being as prompt with this text messages. So just bear with me. I think I got him. I got it right here. Yes. Okay. Let's. Okay. Let me put this so that I can bring it up again. Let me save this properly. Okay, Jonathan Majors case saved. Thank you so much for your patience. Okay. Nope, no, I don't want to open it like that. No, opening on my flipping X. Sorry, guys. All right, okay, so these are the text messages, right? So these are the text messages right here. I pressed the wrong button to open it. Right, so these are the text messages. Please let me know when you get this. They assured me you won't be charged. They said they had to arrest you as protocol when they saw the injuries. They knew that we had a fight. I'm so angry that they did. I'm sorry you are in this position. We'll make sure nothing happens about this. I told them it was my fault to try and grab the phone. I only just got out of hospital. Just call me when you are out. Do you see? Like, I love you. They just called me to check on me again. I reiterated this was not an attack. Now, does that even make sense to what we're reading here? You needed a bit of help to try and leave the relationship, but then again, you're getting help to stay in the relationship. That's what I'm reading from the text. Like, I'm trying to stay in this relationship. I want you. I don't want none of this to happen to you. Blah blah. Nothing in like they love you seals it for me. Nothing in here is suggesting, look, I didn't want to tell them. It's suggesting I did something that is now thinking I probably shouldn't have done. Oh shoot. Or now I got him. If he doesn't say yes, I'm gonna go in court and say all these things. That's what is appearing out to me, because there is no way you can say something like this. But I also saw this as a moment to have a bit of help in leaving the relationship, and say things like that in the text messages. That's not making sense to me. Moving on. Do you want to tell them what occurred? Did you want to tell them what had occurred? Objection was leading, sustained. What did you mean by alluded as to how you sustained your injuries? It was really a overwhelming situation, because it's like something I wanted to do. I wanted to just say, help me, please. Sorry. But as I said previously yesterday, I was never going to tell anyone about anything in our relationship ever, except a few very, very close people that I trusted. So it was so confusing to me to feel like the help that I was going to be getting in that moment was from like an officer. I felt scared to do that. I just was really scared, but I desperately needed help for someone to just get me out. I obviously knew I always took him back every time, and I just didn't want to this time. And knew that in my gut, but I also knew it was going to be hard. Why did you feel scared to get help from the officers? I think just things he told me of in the past of, not trusting the police, what they would do to him as a black man, and I didn't want to put him in that situation. I can see why people believe that she was weaponizing the police here. I can see why. Did you tell them all the details regarding any injuries? No. What did? Let me just go to my website quickly. 1 second. This was the following. What I'm just gonna quickly show you this, because this is very. I'm again, I'm still so like, I know it's not relevant to the charges, so maybe that's why the jury was so easy to disregard it. But I have to bring it back up again for, full disclosure here, because right. So believe it was here. Believe it's in. I believe in. Just need to check. Okay, so right here should be here. The excerpts are here. No, that's not it. Damn it. Sorry, I'm trying to find the testimony of the officer. Uh it was posted by Victoria Bikimpis, but I thought I had it here, but I should have it here. My bad. 1 second, guys. Right. Yes, yeah, sorry about this. I will try and find it much later on. But basically the officer said that she told him that, he had strangled her. And again, what I think was crucial for the jury was the fact that there was no evidence that, she had committed suicide. But again, this is again, Jonathan, not they all entered the apartment together, and we all saw the Andy man come in, open a door for Jonathan, open a door for the police. They all went in. So there was no way for Jonathan to have locked himself out of his own apartment, because he was always complaining of that from the start. But I think the jury were looking at these details and just leaned on the fact that he probably did it. But I don't know how they can look through this and see those texts, because those texts came in. We read that on the previous stream, where she was explaining what she meant by no note and all those things, where she said it wasn't suicide, but it's what Jonathan believed at the time, because again, he knows how she's like. But anyway, moving on. He says, I told them that I kind of grabbed his phone, and that the injuries were caused by him trying to get the phone off me. And I was upset because I found out he was cheating on me. Yeah. I'm showing you. The jury just wanted an opinion for something. That's I don't know. If I'm hearing this, I'm like, case closed. But then again, I know Nate, the lawyer, and other lawyers are saying claim self-defense, but sometimes you don't need to claim something like that. Like just think about it. She's saying I went for his phone. You could easily even look at that as self-inflicted. It's like, hey, I picked up the. Think about it. Think of it this way. Let's think of it this way. Let's think of it this way, right? You have a knife in your house, right? You live with your husband. You were cutting, right? You were cutting onions, for example, right? Your husband walks by, hits your hand. You accidentally cut parts of your hand. You're like, ow. You cut yourself technically, but your husband was walking by and he accidentally hit you, which would be reckless, right? By the law. Is anybody, if she calls the police right now, she'll be in court with the misdemeanor thing. The difference is, obviously, the husband didn't try to go for the objects, all those things. But the fact is, she had her objects in her hand. He walked by, reckless, cuss her own finger chopping onions, right? Let's say that as the case. Would you, in your right hand, says, well, it wasn't self-defense, so he can't really plead self-defense, because it's not like the wife was coming at him, and he hasn't pleaded self-defense. So in this case, well, I'm gonna say that the husband did it, because, like, even though you know that the wife was the one that was cutting us, that literally caused her, would you send the husband, like, convict him based on this? No, you wouldn't. But it's still reckless assault, though. It is. Based on the law, based on what I've read on this case, it is reckless assault. The husband walked into her, causing an injury. By the letter of the law, that is assault. What jury is convicting this man? No one. So why on earth? Like, think about it. The only difference is this is reverse. So she is the one going in to get it. Why wouldn't this be seen as self-inflicted at the same time? In that moment that you have decided to enter someone's self-defense or not, like, there is such a thing as violating someone's boundary. Let's say that, like, there's no proof. There's no proof that, he punched her up or anything like that, because it's not there. But absence of that proof, what I'm saying is, even if Jonathan was just to hold on to his phone tight and not let go, she would be injured in that process. Why would you convict someone just based on that? That's what I'm trying to allude to. That's crazy to me. Anyway, moving on. Let me just read a couple of this chat and then we move on. It says she had to pack her bag. She only needed to pick up and walk out the door. Thank you. Well, I mean, to be fair, I'll play devil's advocate. Yes. I mean, she only had 3 hours of sleep. I've been out before. That can be daunting. Honestly, I don't think there is nothing much wrong with what she testified to there in regards to, her feeling tired, all those things. I don't think there's much wrong. Again, she did vomit. There's proof of it, so she couldn't really deny that. I don't think she would even say that she vomited. She was vomiting on all that. If there was if it wasn't on the pillow, let's say that she ran straight to the toilet and none of it went out, and she wouldn't have volunteered that information because it's incriminating. She wouldn't have. But let's say that, or the way that all the events happened, she would have most likely have, volunteered that information, and she most likely would have vomited, done all that, and wanted to get some sleep, have her bags packed already, ready to go in after she woke up, because you would have a bit more energy then because you've recuperated. So I don't fault her for even falling asleep. But again, you 100%, if you are in fear, as you have put, I don't know how you can sleep. One eye open, you lock the door. So what? He has keys. It's his house. You wouldn't think about that? Like think about it for a second. Like, it's a communal, like it's a bedroom that you both share. Why? How? Do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, it is just not making sense to someone who is living in fear and thinking, if I lock the door, changing the locks, that makes more sense. If she changed the locks, she was a locksmith in yesteryears and had the tools to change the lock right there, and she did that, makes sense, right? That would alleviate all fears because there's no way of him getting in. But locking the door doesn't do anything. And moving on, Grace Jabbari text reminded me of San Francisco recordings of Jonathan. I see some similarities. Rasta Live, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. American laws for Black people always having a loopholes to convict a Black. I'm guessing you are alluding to the fact of, I mean, self-defense aside, when she I'm just saying, when she volunteered the fact that she went for the phone, if his hand would have just caught her hand and just held it tight, would have caused the same injuries. And he's trying to get the phone back. There is no, like I said, there's no way you can book him for assault for this. Like again, with example with the wife, there is no way you can book him for assault just for walking by, because by the letter of the law you have to, though. But nobody in their right mind would convict that. He doesn't, in my opinion, I'm just saying, he doesn't need to plead self-defense. It's what I'm trying to say. He doesn't need to, but based on the CCTV and all of that, I can see why people are saying he should have done it, because it doesn't look like, it's not conclusive enough to not escape a self-defense plea. Anyway, moving on. By the yeah, but so moving on, continuing on with the reading. In substance did you tell the officers about your best? Yeah, about. Yeah, so we've already read that. Moving on, I stipulated, saying, Your Honor, I stipulate all these come in. Okay, 15, 16, 17, objection. There was no objection. Photograph, it was a hand, etc. It says, do you know approximately what time it was taken? No, a few hours after I taken one myself, probably. So this was probably when the police were taking photos of her hand. I believe the only other people that took photos of my injuries were the police officers. So where were you, if you remember, when this picture was taken? In our little kind of walk-in closet area. I'm going to ask it to be published to the jury. Thank you. Ms. Jabbari, had your finger changed in appearance since 12:40 a.m. the night before? This is most likely when she was at the hospital. Yeah, it was kind of getting gradually more and more swollen, I think, because I was kind of being a bit unaware of it. I was probably should have iced it and banded it up or something, but I don't know. It was getting more swollen. Had the finger change in appearance since she left the bar? Just bruising and going darker. It was bigger. I'm showing you what is now in evidence in People's Exhibit 16. So, do you recognize the photograph? What is the photograph of my finger, my hand? Do you know who took the photograph? I would assume the officers. Is this around the same time People's Exhibit 15 was taken? Yes. Thank you. I'm just showing to the witness now what's marked as People's Exhibit, etc. Do you recognize the photograph? Yeah. Who do you want to be? Me. What approximately time do you think it was taken? Same time, I think. Do you know who took the photograph? One of the officers. People would ask, publish the jury. They published it. Ms. Jabbari, the photograph of your neck. What does this show us? Okay, now we're getting here. It shows bruising. And do you know how you sustain? You know how you sustain that bruising from Jennifer in the car? You know what? You know why this is funny? How did Jonathan get to your neck? But you said in that on the text message, the strangulation charges didn't happen. The strangulation charge was dropped. This is so. I shouldn't be laughing. This is actually very sad. In every way, this is actually very sad. She says in court that she sustained this injuries in the car. But yet, in the text messages, she said, I read the paper they gave me about strangulation. I said point blank, this did not occur and should be removed immediately. The judge is definitely going to be told about this. So how else would you get neck injuries? You said it was from Jonathan. So how is it? To be honest, this is probably another part that the jury, this is probably just if anything, this might be the only one that the jury really hinted on, because you saw how he was how Grace was her upper body. Her upper body was basically hanging back, and he was trying to push her back into the car. She was pushing up, etc. And this was probably the only thing. Based on this, they probably concluded this girl is so abused that all these texts that all this happening, she was out of it. She just was trying to defend him. I don't know how you can come to that conclusion, but I wouldn't be surprised, because if you did not meet the other bar, but because now that she says this in here, you can't. Anyway, it's now off for consideration. Can you explain that? When he was pushing against me and slamming back in the back of the car and things like that. Let's go to the. I did not even read that, by the way, before all this. But I'm gonna get up the body cam so that you can see because I want to know what reason the prosecution had to even drop the strangulation charges. That doesn't make sense to me. Why would you drop the strangulation charges? She's saying right here, point blank. And when you see this video, you're going to see exactly why it just this is okay. No, this is wrong video. Sorry, my bad. You're gonna see exactly. I'm looking for the body cam. Yeah, that's one. Okay, you're gonna see exactly why I say that is just not accurate. This is the body cam video. 1 second. Right. So if it is here. So I take a picture of her hand. This case is mad. It's actually mad. I'm actually surprised she actually said this, because she said this wasn't the case. But when you see the redness on her neck, I want to know, how else did you get that outside of strangulation? Because the way, like I said, like, you have to be coached by a seasoned professional to say, okay, you got these things going for you, so testify like this, so that it can leave so that based on those text messages, it can leave the jury with this in mind, or whatever. Look at her neck. How else do you get that? From a headbutt? You get that from strangulation. Like, what the hell? That's why this charge was even made. You don't think that these guys know what they're doing? So he punched you in the throat. Is that what you're saying? He punched you in the throat, or he scratched you? I'm not seeing scratch marks. Like, I'm sorry. Anything around the neck is usually deemed as a strangulation, because it's just a natural movement and everything like that. When he was pushing against me, well, and slamming me in the back of the car and things like that. Okay. As you know, it's presuming prior to this, you want to make me approach, of course, the discourse. So let the record reflect that we did have a sidebar, and I'm going to ask the people ask a new question. The last question was sustained, and if there was an answer to that last question, it's stricken from the record, and for you to disregard it. Ms. Jabbari, did you know the defendant was going to be arrested? No. Did you ask for the defendant to be arrested? No. What happened after you spoke with the officers? When I was speaking to the officers, eventually they said, we are going to have to take you. Objection sustained. Must be hearsay. Rephrase the question. Thank you. Without getting into the substance of what the officers said, what did you do next? Went to the hospital. Why did you go to the hospital? Because my injuries and also the nature of the call. Can I say this? Did you come to learn what the nature of the call was? Yeah. They believe I was trying to harm myself. When you were at the hospital, what, if any, range of motion did you have in your middle finger? It was just getting more stiff and more, and the more kind of tired. And the more kind of tired I was feeling a lot more. But as I said, this wasn't affecting much, anything too much. It was stiffening, and it wasn't bending like this, but I could move it a bit. When you say stiffening, was it more or less stiffer than it had been when you were at the bar? Way more. Was it more or less stiff than it had been when you spoke to your friend Holly? Yeah. I think throughout the next few days, it was just getting a bit more harder to move. But in that point, I think I was still being led by adrenaline and functionality and things like that, as well as feeling pain. Jury, you fumbled this bad, man. But anyway, moving on. When you arrive at the hospital, what if? Damn it! Sorry, guys. Did not switch. Forgot to switch it over. Um, it says, when you arrived at the hospital, what, if any, treatment did you receive for your ear? So they cleaned it and they wanted to stitch it back together, but I was too scared to have needle too close to it. I felt it in my bones, so they agreed to glue it back together. So I'm gonna go straight to the chat. Zach Catanzaretti, thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. That is very generous of you. Just really appreciate your work. I played in a couple of movies with him years ago, and he was very kind to me. I love this coverage. Do you know a law expert you can have on a show? Well, first and foremost, Zach, thank you so much for the kind words, and I appreciate you sharing that little insight. I have had experts on the show, Legal Bites, who was covering the trial, as well as Natalie Whittingham Burrell, who was also covering the trial. I had her on twice, and she basically was going through the legalities of the whole case. It's all it's here. Rather than me play the video, let me try and go to my YouTube and show you from there which ones to go to watch. Right here. So I'm just gonna go through here. So it will be here. So that's Legal Bites. We were having a discussion, and she basically discussed what the doctor had told her in regards to Grace Jabbari's injuries and explaining the ear injuries and the plausible defense that Jonathan could have had, where she felt Jonathan went wrong. This is the stream with Natalie post verdict, where she was basically explaining the texts and what could have happened and how the defense should have cleaned it up, what she read in regards to it and the failings in with it. Danny, shout out to Danny, was in the courtroom every single day, except for one day that she didn't go in the courtroom. I think that was a Thursday. I think Thursday 7th, I think she wasn't in court that day. I'm not too sure. But she was basically also filling Natalie with details, of what happened in court, because Natalie was only privy to what was being reported in the press. I also spoke to Natalie here as well, so you can go watch that here. It's all, let me see if I'm zooming. Yep, I can. So nope, I lost it again. Sorry. Nope, that's not it. Right, that's the one here. So Natalie was explaining a lot of pre-trial stuff and what she basically knows, and was basically going through the legality before trial. She was with Katt Wagner, who secures the transcripts that we've been reading. So shout out to her as well. But yeah, those are the streams that we've done. This one here, and nope, that's not the one. Damn it, yeah, this one here. So it's all in the playlist also. It's all in the podcast format. Sorry. Let me quickly go to that. That's the one here. And you can go check that out here. It will be all here, or there is a playlist for that. I made it into a podcast so that it's a lot easier viewing. But there's also a playlist here that you can also check out. It's all compiled in there, and you can find it out there. So once again, thank you so much for your super chat. Thank you ever so much, Zach. Zach goes on to say, yeah, Legal Bites was great. I find law professionals really interesting to hear the explanation of the issues with the entire case. Yeah, I'll try and get one more on, because after I finish all of this transcript reading, because I have found issues that have jumped at me and the objections that were sustained, etc. I've made notes of them, so I'll definitely try and get them on to explain each and every single one of them and why and what this could mean on the oral context. I will try and also track down the exhibits because there was only very few that was not very few, but not everything was released to the public. Um, uh, the text, like for example, there are some text messages that was sent to Grace by around 3 o'clock that we never got to see. So when all the information was coming out, because it's just, I don't know what the press received. So we only got to see what they received. So I'll try my best to also track down as much as possible. Also, for everyone else that are tuned in, thank you so much. All 14, 15, 16 of you guys that are tuned in. Thank you so much. You can also check out the channel to see all the other cases that we've covered, like Deb V. Heard or Tory Lanez. You can also check out all the live streams that we have done on this channel. And also you can check out the playlist that and the podcast that we have assembled here. So make sure you check that out. And also, of course, make sure you check out Dr. Hines.info for all the relevant info in regards to this case. Zach says, awesome. Danny and Kirby Clemens on again last night. He was fantastic. I want so much to speak to Kirby because his experience is so relevant to this case. I have so much questions to ask him. I need to shoot him an email, but I would love to speak to him and just pick his mind on, some of the hypotheticals I have even posted here, if I'm even on the right track of thinking, because I personally have an interest in going into law and representing clients like majors, those that are facing, that need defending. I have that interest just now, and I'm working towards it. I'll put it like that. I never speak in absolutes because I don't know what tomorrow holds, but it's definitely a burning interest of mine. But yeah, going back into the transcript read once again, thank you so much, Zach, for your super chat. If you want to support the channel, also consider sending a super chat as well to what is proportion, to the value of what you value the show, whether it be $1, or a million, whatever way you feel. Consider that it would go so much into helping the channel and providing a much better setup than what you have. I've here. I always want to improve, and sometimes the limitation is financial. But yeah, nonetheless, it's just if you can help, it would definitely be great. Thank you so much, everyone that's tuned in. Once again, we're gonna go back right back into reading this transcript. So goes on to say, and at that point, what if any pain did you have in your right arm? I had a global sense of pain everywhere. Okay, objection, not responsive. I mean, to be quite fair, it was the right arm. I mean, to be quite fair, I do think that didn't really that wasn't in any way responsive, but judges get discretion for things like this. I wasn't really focusing on specific areas of the body that I feel pain. I was just in a lot of pain. It was a bit everywhere. Okay, and what if any treatment did you receive for your right middle finger? I'm sorry, for your right middle finger. They did an X-ray, and then shall I continue? And they found that the kind of bone that was there was fractured, which is why it was painful, just that top. And then they did, like, I think it's called a splint or something, where they put something in the middle and they bind it up so you don't use it as much. So this was the prosecution test, basically reading to the jury, most likely. It says, let the record reflect when Ms. Jabbari said there, she was pointing to the top of the middle finger. I will get that up right now for you. Okay. Let me go back up. Wrong page again. Okay. There we go. Wednesday 13th. Don't have any info for that. This is the finger that she was referring. No, do I have it here? No, I don't have it here. Darn it. All right, so let me go back a little bit. This is the finger that I believe this is the finger that she was referring to. Because Dr. Xiang was testifying here. She said she suffered, and he says that there was a fine hairline fracture on the finger, which is the injury she's referring to in the hand. I'm trying to find the picture of the injury. I don't think it's here because I don't think, yeah, it should be here. Let me share this. Uh-oh. Right, okay. So I got a bit of things to do. I don't have the picture of the, okay, I don't have a picture. Okay, let me type into Google, Grace Jabbari pictures. 1 second. Yep, it should be here. Again, I need to save all of this so that I can see, but she does put the finger up. I can't find it. So just Grace Jabbari doing model shots and things like that. That's the one there. Let me save the image so that I definitely know. Let me open it to the next tab, and here we go. So that's the image right there. So that's the fracture that she was. That's. I don't know about you, but that looks like anyway. Never mind. Moving on. Because if it was an impact injury, I think it would be more bent like that or something like that. But that's not what's being described here, because as seen here, according to Danny, Dr. William Xiang testified that it was a fine hairline fracture on her finger, and he goes on to testify that injuries was consistent with what she used to describe, and the ear injury will come from the fire or a sharp object that would have made a crease on here. You may not know how she got hurt, etc. So you can go find that on Times.info. You know what? Let me just post it so that you can go have a read if should you wish to do so. I'm just a boomer today with all this. Oh, there we go. Didn't see it. Okay, there we go. So that's the reference to it. I'll also put it in the description so that you guys can go see this relevant cross testimony. But yeah, so moving on. Did you tell the hospital staff all the details of the night before? No. Why not? I just didn't want to. I didn't want to tell them at the time. I didn't feel important. I just wanted to be helped. I did say, like, the kind of, I believe what I said was similar, just that I told the police officers that just that this happened because of this. There was no kind of intricate detail. When you were at the hospital, why didn't you feel important? I think it's really a complex thing to understand myself. Like, why didn't I just say everything? But I loved him still. It was so confusing, and I didn't want to get him in trouble. Did there come a point where you told someone how you received your injury? Sustained likely objection. What kind of likely hearsay objection? Sorry. What kind of physicians do you see at the hospital? I think it was a doctor, X-ray person. I don't know the name. And what was your emotional state while you were at the hospital? I was upset, really just worried. I felt worried about him, really sad. Can you explain what you mean by worried about him? They told me that they had arrested him, and I felt really anxious about that. Why is that? I don't know. I just felt really sad. Felt like it was my fault, Yeah, sorry. It's okay. Take your time. Why did you feel like it was your fault? Because I felt like I should have just lied and said nothing had happened. Do you see the conflict? She wanted help in getting out of the relationship. But so she gave the information so that she gets the help because she was in fear. That makes sense to her state of mind, all of those things, right? Now she says, "Oh, I should have just lied." Okay, so the only way I can reconcile this is if this is to be the actual recollection of things, then you didn't protect him. Do you see what I mean? So why are you up here saying I was trying to protect him? Okay. And I knew he would be upset with me, or I just wanted to fix it. While you were at the hospital, did there come a time when you saw a psychiatrist? Yeah. Can you explain that for the members of the jury? Yeah. I think the I think the nature of them in the hospital. I think the nature of them putting me in the hospital, and that was because they were told that I had done something to myself, so they can't let me walk freely, so they could check, because that would be irresponsible, I guess. No, you are in a psychiatric unit. This is what happens when you are suspected of suicide. It's kind of formality. So I went in, I met someone, and just told them that it was like a situation with my boyfriend, that he had hurt me, but I had done nothing to myself, and she believed me and let me go. Objection. The last part of the answer will be stricken. I don't know. I don't know what she said, because I mean I thought this would be stricken, but it wouldn't be stricken. Did you try to commit suicide that night? No. I did previously try to commit suicide. Objection overruled. No. How long approximately to your memory were you at the hospital? I was, yeah, a long time. Who, if anyone, were you at with the hospital? My agent and my friend Ben came to meet me. You said he's your agent. Can you explain that? Yeah, he helped me find work basically, and he's English. He moved out here, and Holly basically told him to come because I had spoken to her. Overruled. Here's like objection. Did there come a time when you were able to leave the hospital? Yes. What was your emotional state at this point when you were able to leave the hospital? Still the same. Really just felt confusion. Like, what is going on? Like, really sad. Like, yeah, just felt sad, pain, and physical pain. Tired, so tired, and hungry. Yeah. So what did you do after you were released? Ben took me to get some food. What was your emotional state while you got some food? Just really sad, still, just upset, just devastated. Felt really worried for him. Where did you go to get food? This is interesting. So if she did have an history of a psychiatric history in the UK, I wonder what the communication of that would be between the UK and the US. Because would they have held her for much longer if she has documented that she attempted something like this before in the past? Likely. But again, you wouldn't, like, I don't know what the communications are like in that area, but it's something. If I was representing, it's definitely something I would look up, like try and get a psychiatric history, etc. Because, but then again, would it be relevant based on the events in question? But then again, if they allow background information in, it would serve as background information too. All right, moving on into one of the Soul houses in New York. Do you remember how you paid for that meal? No, I don't remember. Maybe Ben paid or I did. I don't know. Sorry, moving on. Sorry, just trying to sort this out. Okay, sorry, moving on. Did there come a time when you returned back to the apartment? Yes. Why did you return back? Because obviously I informed him that I was going to be, and warned Ben, when just tell me I'm not allowed to say things. It's not for the truth. Let's just stop there. Ask a follow-up question. Why didn't you feel safe returning to your apartment? Because I was just told a hearsay. It's okay. When you return to your apartment, what was the defendant present? No. What did you plan, if anything, on doing when you returned to the apartment? I plan on getting my bag and stuff together for the next job, and Ben came back with me because I didn't know I would be able to carry the bag. Guys, do you see a problem here? Guys, just let me know in the chat if you see the problem that I'm seeing. You were scared of this guy. You were scared to go back into the apartment, but Ben was coming with you to pack the bags, not to be there as your guard. Why were you worried you couldn't carry the bag? I was just so weak at that point. Did you prepare for your trip? Yeah. He helped me pack a bag, like dance clothing. I don't think this girl was not going through this. It was not. It's not fair. There's nothing to tell me that is fair here. The only thing I gathered from all this that is truthful is how she most likely why she first that's truthful. I think that's truthful. The other thing I gather is also not why like the other thing I gather is calling Holly, Blakey, etc. I don't know how she ended up passed out and just be in a closet. That doesn't make sense to me. You're talking to her for 2 hours. Like that just doesn't make sense to me. On top of that, the only part that I feel was true out of all of this is the part where she said I was naked and feeling shame. That's shame. That's the only part I'm like, yeah, this is you like if that was consistent all across the board, because I'm not seeing that here. Like that true emotion that she felt at the time, I'm not seeing that here. Because again, if you are in a position where you're feeling fearful for the guy, I wouldn't be saying, yeah, Ben came back to help me pack. No, what do you mean? Like I needed someone there to protect me. To be honest, he's a big guy. I was scared he might do something, he might come back and etc. That would make sense, but no, he said to help me back. It's like, anyway, moving on. Like I do understand that even like even if you're a coach, you do make slip ups like this. It's not perfect. I just kind of panicked and pointed at a few tracksuit dance leggings, things like that. I was like, yeah, that'll be fine. When you say you pointed at it, who was doing the packing? Ben was. I don't know about you, but if I was scared and all that and all these things and all this what she's explaining to me, I'm sending Ben alone. I'm sending Ben alone in a taxi to go there and do all the packing for me. And I'm going to where I would reside or stay at Ben's house. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I still remember, like I didn't want to. I still remember when I was held at knife point, and when I was held at knife point in my when I was in uni, it wasn't me that was doing the packing. Me and my friend were living at the time. This is like it's an extreme case, but it's pretty much akin to this. It's like it's life altering. I knew what I needed. I knew what I needed to get done. My friends went in there and got it done, and I got an emergency. I couldn't sleep in that house again. Put it that way. I just couldn't go back. Couldn't go back because I know I'll be sleeping with one eye open or something just couldn't go back. Those are things that it will show up in your pattern. I'm a guy, by the way. This is a girl, a scrawny girl. She's put herself to be the ultimate. There is no. I just find it hard to believe that you were actually in fear. I was in fear because let me not. Everything is different, Let me just. Everyone is different. Everyone goes through different things. It was hard for me to kind of, since my finger was strapped together because the pain was getting worse. I just couldn't. I just felt really weak. I would maybe grab some like underwear or things like that, but he was kind of putting it in place, packing it back for me. I had to live at my friend's house for a bit before I can even get another accommodation in the uni. I don't know about you, man. I'm not going like if all this happened to me, if I was Grace Jabbari and all this happened to me, there is no way I'm going back to that house. Ben is doing that for me. I'm a girl, by the way. I have the advantage of saying, please do this for me. Nothing is in here that says anyway. But then again, she did say that she found her independence. So I will accept that. I'll accept that. Were there times when you were by yourself at the apartment? So Ben wanted me to go with him, get a hotel near the airport, and I just felt really exhausted. And I said, "Look, they're going to tell me if he comes back, and I will leave. But at the moment, he's not coming back here. I'm safe. I'm just going to sleep here." I love the fact that this is a code read. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna go to a chat real quick. It says Sododov says, so she could have asked her sister for help. Absolutely. Her sister lives in New York. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm surprised that's what's missing in his testimony. I'm really surprised. You couldn't go to your sister. Like, you have places you can go to, but you chose to sleep there. I'm sorry, but what? I was held at knife point and I got out of that house and I couldn't even go back to sleep. But you were beaten up in a car by a big black guy that you 240 pounds that you said he was, or something like that. 6'2", black, and you're telling me you were okay. When, if anything, did he when, if anything, did he do before leaving? Carry my bag downstairs. I just got it all ready when I decided to leave. It would be like my coat, my shoes, my bag was all there. All I had to do is push it and go. In the elevator, push it out. I didn't have to carry anything. Did you pack anything after Ben left? No. What did you do after Ben left? I felt really, really alone. And I was sudden, like, hit by the fact that I was actually in our apartment and I didn't like it. So I called my sister, and I called my sister and I just said, "Are you home? Can I come there?" All right. Why don't we? So they went up for a sidebar, etc. Blah blah. Pause the proceedings. Blah blah. Okay, Mr. Jabbari, your manager is still on the oath. Yes. May I inquire? Yes. Okay. So direct examination says, Mr. Jabbari, we were talking about you leaving the apartment before the break. Did you take any of the defendant's items when you left the apartment? No. To clarify, where did you go afterwards? My sister's house. While you were at the sister's house. Okay. So all of that before, she was narrating how she felt when she was alone at the apartment. I'm surprised this wasn't a fault beforehand. That's the part that sticks out to me. But if she felt, okay, cool, I can stay here for now, then got a sudden realization, I need to go elsewhere. That makes sense too. That makes sense too. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. But then again, I don't know. Did she not find the situation more severe or triggering? I don't know, because I could even no. I didn't even want to know what the guy's schedule was. That's how mad this is. I didn't even want to know what the guy's schedule was. I didn't even want to know if the guy was coming back here or if I'll get notified by somebody if he was coming back here. I just couldn't go back there. I don't know. Different things. Maybe she just prioritized and just felt I can. I don't know. But mine had a weapon. Her one. The man was a weapon in that one. So okay, maybe that's anyway. Did there come a time that night when you did reach out to a defendant? Yes. Why did you do so? I wanted to make him. Oh, God, be sick, man. I wanted to make him feel safer. I guess I just felt I felt guilty for the fact that he was there, in a way, because it was over what he had done to me. Yeah, so I wanted to reassure him that I didn't tell them to arrest him. Or yeah, I just wanted him to know that I was going to do all I could to stop anything going further. I loved him, and what, if anything, did you tell him about what he had been charged with? I said they told me about charging with a bunch of things, but then one of them was strangulation, and I didn't understand the kind of context around that, and I think I told it was you on the phone. I said no, he didn't strangle me in the way that I understood what strangulation was. Coached. I can tell it's coached. What do you mean? Strangulation is strangulation. Oh, let's hear what she says. So I said you should definitely drop it all. I said I didn't want there to be charges or anything. How do you not know what girls could strangulation? Why did you send that to the defendant after you had been assaulted by him? Just wanted to know that I wasn't trying to get him in trouble, you know? Did you intend on cooperating with the criminal case? At that point, I was just so we can 100% conclude that this is no way Stockholm syndrome. Let me go to a chat real quick. We don't have much left of the stream, so let me go here. So she lied. So, sorry. So she packed light and went to sleep. Yep, that's what happened. This guy beat the shit out of you, leave you fearing for your life, as you testified to. But you went back to the apartment and all those things, and gone to your sisters. But afterwards, just to go to the record, gone to your sisters, gone to sleep there, and texted him as well to let him know that you didn't get him in trouble. It was the police, all those things. Right. Winter. She was in fear, but chased him 5 blocks, texted him 532 times, and went back to his house. FMH. Again, on the other stream, LW Academy Hub said that victims can do things that seem irrational to us, which, yeah, I don't know why I was then. I don't know about you. Was I a victim then? Because I couldn't go back to the house. But again, I don't. They all react in different ways. I was in fear. I don't know. I don't know. The only thing that she was in fear of was losing all that you provided, period. Yeah. And like LW Academy Hub said it in the previous stream, the victims do fear that too, because they're going to lose the lifestyle that they once had. So they might want to stay with them for the lifestyle. Listen, I just, when I look at all of these things and I look at victim behaviors and all of that, I'm trying to understand whether the literature that's out there is trying to encourage people to not be victims or enable them to be more of a victim. Because I don't know about you, but I wouldn't encourage a victim to want to stay because of dependence or financial things. I wouldn't, but it seems to me that the literature I've read, it is not preaching. I think if I was to be fair, I think it's trying to teach that therapists should take a bit more care when advising in this situation, because this is how victims react, etc. I think that's the context. However, the way that it's being communicated and passed through to the mainstream, it comes across as if they are enabling the behavior and saying, oh, well, because victims do this, we are going to help you so that you can keep part of that lifestyle and not feel more victimized, if that makes sense. I hope that comes across right. I wish I had an expert to like run through that frame of thought with me. Anyway, going back to the and we got so going back to the transcript read. It says, yeah, at that point I wasn't thinking anything beyond what was going on at the moment, and that was just trying to fix the situation we had found ourselves in as best as possible. Who, if anyone, did you tell the defendant was at fault for him being arrested? I don't know exactly what I said. I don't know exactly what I said, but I think I was saying I told them it was my fault. I grabbed the phone. That's why he attacked me. Did anyone see the tell as well? Yeah. Right. Why did you say it was your fault? I just from when he would get angry at me in the past, I would kind of put the blame on me. It was a better solution for the both of us. I'm directing. Interesting that she didn't say from when he would attack me in the past. Very interesting. I'm directing your attention to approximately October. Look, this will be in transcripts. If she wasn't allowed to test whatever she wasn't allowed to testify to, etc., the judge would have said it. We've read parts where the judge have said what people can testify to and what they can't testify to. It's not here. Anyway, moving on. I'm directing your attention to approximately October 25th of 2023. Did you go to the police precinct on that day? Yes. Why did you go to the police precinct? Because they were trying to, I don't know the wording for it. I was still a bit unsure over the whole thing, but he had put a few months in. Okay, overruled. You could keep going. About 4 months, I think, or 3 or 4 months after this whole situation happened, they put him in a cross complaint saying that I was the one who attacked him, and because of sorry, it's okay. What did you do when you arrived at the precinct? I just walked in with some people and then had to get I just sat in a room next to the detectives and I just signed a few papers and got fingerprints and photos for an arrest, I guess. And who, if anyone, was outside the precinct when you first arrived? I didn't see anyone when I first arrived. Who, if anyone, was outside the precinct when you left? About 30 to 40 reporters, cameras and stuff. What is your understanding of the status of those charges? They don't exist. Now directing your attention back a little bit to March 25th, 2023. You mentioned that that you had a flight on the 26th. Yes. How did you get to the airport? I believe I called an Uber, or maybe could it I would have to have my memory refreshed, but it could have been pre-booked car. My stuttering is killing me. Okay. You took a car to the airport. Yeah. Do you remember how you paid for that car ride? Just with the car I've been using. Yeah. Why did you do that? I wasn't really thinking about anything other than just getting home. So really, I probably should have used my original debit card. Sure, but I just wasn't sure about changing cards on my phone at this point. I just the justification for spending his money. Fair enough. In the coming days, how, if at all, did your pain level change? Well, I got home and got to my parents' house, and I think my mom kind of had a look at me and realized there was really a lot more bruising, and that I kind of registered. I didn't feel comfortable looking at my body at that point. I was in a lot of pain, so my pain level was still high. I went to the doctors again and the hospital, and just what was your pain level? What was the pain like in your ear in the coming weeks? It was very sore. Yes. Was it sore? Okay. Was it different at all from what you had what you had experienced previously? Well, let me rephrase the question. That was badly worded. Was the pain in your ear different than it was on March 25th, 2023? Yeah, it was kind of different. It was kind of different kind of pain because it was healing, it had been glued back to my head, and it was kind of achy and that kind of healing pain. I still couldn't lie on the right side of my bed, still couldn't it was painful. It was still painful, a bit different kind of pain, I guess. There was no adrenaline left in my body. I was just feeling it all very much at this point. Which ear was that? My right ear. Okay, let the record reflect that the witness has indicated her right ear. So what was your pain like in your head after March 25th? Yeah, it was very sore. I had a few bruises, and I probably didn't notice. My mom kind of grabbed me and just said, follow objection sustained, follow up, that will be sustained. Okay. That'll be sustained. Just ask the question in a different way. Yeah, sorry. That's okay. How did the pain in your head change the week after the assault? Yeah, I was objection argument to the question. I can rephrase. All right, rephrase it. It says, how did the pain in your head change the week after the incident with the defendant? It was more or like close to where the bruising was on my head, but still felt painful. Yes. Where was the bruising? It was like a bruise on the back of my head. I think there was one on the front too, and it just felt bull BS. BS, absolute BS. The police would have seen it. The doctors that inspected your cranium, all those things would have seen it. Absolute BS. They would have taken pictures of it. The doctor came out and testified, and this would have been. How long did it take before you experienced that kind of bruising? Okay, and that is it. That's all I have time for. I believe the cross-examination should be coming up after this. I'm just going to go straight to the chat and basically just read the chat out. Winter, thank you so much again. I've been trying with you in the comment section of the previous videos. I appreciate you for joining, and I appreciate you so much for sharing your comments. He says, Winter says, that makes no sense at all. What other way is there to understand strangulation? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Because I'm going crazy here just thinking like there is like it's just that's strangulation. You don't no one's gonna put strangulation for this or this. That's a strike. I don't know, man. This is like, come on, man. She's a liar. No, this may make sense. Winter says, I could go with that. If the cops came, she wasn't in a rush to say, I fear him. What did he do to me? I don't want to talk in front of him. I can go with that too, right? I can go with that. I don't want to talk in front of him. It's the protecting angle that I have a problem with. You protected him. You want to protect him, right? It would make sense to say, I don't want to say anything right now. I don't want to do anything. Could you please escort me out of here? Why? We got into an argument last night. I just don't want to be here when he's here. So could you please escort me out, please? That's all I want. Escort me. I don't know how I got these injuries. I was at the club the other day. I really don't know. I don't know where this came from. I just want to go to, I just want to go to the hospital, get it checked out, etc. Just escort me out. That's all I want. Just, because I don't want to get it. You provide the least amount of information. Even if they make a formal arrest, you can at least rest assured they have nothing to go on. At the very least, all they have is your injuries. They have nothing more to go on. That is protecting somebody. If you were a victim, this is the consistent pattern that they usually go in. What I'm reading here is an complete anomaly. Sorry. It's a complete outlier. If she is a victim, this is a complete outlier of a victim. But anyway, that's what I have time for. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. Make sure you check out the other work that we have on the other channel. I'm releasing the interviews to the Dev v. Heard docuseries that I've done, Legal Labyrinths. You can also check out the live streams that we have on the channel, and all the playlist, and everything is collated in one neat little package in a playlist form. You can also check out drhines.info. It should be right there. But yeah, take care of yourself. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Zach, for your generous super chat. I hope to see you again on the stream. I hope to see you again, Winter. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you again, Soldaf, Rasta Live, everyone that participated in the chat, and everyone that was lurking, because I see you lurkers. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to like and share this stream, and of course subscribe to the channel as well. But yeah, I just thought I ended there. I will see you tomorrow, where most likely we're going to head to the cross-examination of this, and I cannot bloody wait to see what was coming out there, because there was no reporting of that whatsoever. So take care of yourself. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Take care.